read this article that really spoke to me, uh, and it's called "Holding Out." There's an old story about a young man who's freezing on the side of the road in Alaska. He's hitching a ride to Miami. He's so cold he can barely hold up his handmade sign. And after a long wait, a friendly trucker stops and says, "Not going to Miami, but going as far as Fort Lauderdale." Dejectedly, the man says, "Oh, I'm good." This is a folk myth of our modern culture that warns us against our want for perfection. How often do we refuse our fate under the guise of holding out for the right thing? How often do we turn down the path presented like a gift because it's not exactly what we were dreaming of? How often do we hold out for the perfect partner, the perfect career, the perfect house? How often do we martyr ourselves to some imagined ideal? How often do we lose sight of what we're really after, insisting on all or nothing when there is so much abundance wherever we are and so many opportunities that can help us along the way? I had a coaching conversation with one of our consulting clients this week, and it was a beautiful conversation because he asked he his partner, this new woman that came into his life, and he uses ChatGPT as his coach, which, by the way, I'm going to be putting out a little mini course on this because it is unbelievable what your GPT knows about you and all of the amazing things it can unleash. But he said, GPT said to follow the process. This isn't this woman. He's in love with this woman, except there's a physical attribute he just doesn't like. And I'm sharing this because, well, number one, he probably won't see this. But number two, he's allowed me to use this as an example. And GPT says, trust in the process. Like, what do you love about this woman? Why don't you move into that space? Embrace that, and the love will find you, or the rest of it will fall into place. And he's like, you know what, Nick? I read that in GPT, and all it says to me is settle it. And I was like, okay, let's lean into that. Let's lean into what settling means, or where that label came from, or what that word means. And it brings us back to so many of us with our achieving and targeting and all of these mindsets we've been built with, right? I refuse to settle. Okay, well, what does settle mean? Well, if I don't do this, or if I do this, it won't lead me to this outcome. I'm only going to get half of what I want. Okay, half of what you want, or maybe none of what you want. Isn't that still that decision with all the information you had at the moment, with all of your circumstances and situational stuff up until that moment? Didn't you still make the best decisions you could have made? Isn't every decision we ever made in our lives the absolute correct decision for us on our path in our life with our circumstances, with all the information that we had at the moment? We made the right choice in that moment. And that right choice led us into a circumstance or situation that showed us contrast, or led us to get half of what we wanted, or fully what we wanted, or none of what we wanted. And that was a teaching lesson, wasn't it? And without that teaching lesson, maybe we were going to have to be forced to go through that one way or another. But going back to, where are the signs on your journey, in your path, for what you are going through, or for what you're desiring? And are there places that you can go now that you're maybe saying no to, or that seem they're not what you want, so you're saying no to it? And could they be a stop along the way for you on the journey? Does anyone have any feelings or thoughts around that passage? I know I did. All right, 9:36. We're going to end as we usually do. I'm seeing a lot of photos coming to the chat, though. I love it, Joelle. Nice. It's beautiful with the sailing. Make sure you put those in the WhatsApp chat. I think Angelica already put the WhatsApp. If you're not already in the WhatsApp community, feel free to join. And we'll start our week with a deep breath in and release. Thank you, universe, as we start this next week into being a creator here on this planet, into being able to experience this body with all of its sensations, with all of the pleasure and entertainment and wonder that it can provide, as well as the contrast that shows us we are alive. Being able to take care of our bodies like we take care of ourselves, being able to lean into the relationships of the people who love us so dearly, being able to love them back with all that we are, with all that we have. Being able to lean into this week the new labels that we choose to be and the labels that we no longer choose to represent. Being able to move into this week knowing that we have the power and that control to experience this life with all of its emotions, all of its sensations, all of the beautiful pleasure, joy, and wonder that this has. And we get to feel all the emotions of being human. Knowing that we signed up to be in this beautiful classroom of human life on this planet. And so embracing all that there is to come of it. Knowing that as our mind begins to act up in the same spirals or loops that we've been accustomed and have trained it to do, we honor that it's trying to keep us safe. We honor the stories and the programs that have been pushed in there. And by loving all of those pieces of us, all of those little voices that stand up to try and keep us safe, we can then begin to let some of them go in favor of being the unlimited creator that we are. As we move into this week, we love ourselves more and more and more so we can love our others. We embrace all freedoms and all those freedoms and what they look like. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom, location freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to love and be loved, freedom of our bodies, freedom of thought. Freedom is everywhere around us. Abundance is everywhere around us. We are reminded with every deep breath that we take that it's all a gift. Every single moment. So we lean into those moments. We lean into our breath. We lean into every single beautiful and challenging moment, knowing that it's all perfect, knowing that we are all on this beautiful journey and path together, and that no journeys and paths are alike. Every decision we make is the right one. And as we move into the feeling instead of the thinking this week, reminding ourselves to live in our hearts. We'll seal with a deep breath in. Oh, I love you guys. A lot of guys, some girls listed this week. Thank you so much. Lean into the WhatsApp chat, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Thanks, everybody.